Video 5, Part 4. Now, let's take a look at Part 4. This part deals with natural gas deliveries to consumers. Your responses here should be based on financial records. Here, EIA is looking for volumes of gas delivered to a particular sector of end user. Please note, volumes reported in each sector should only be based on the type of end-use customer, not the amount of gas delivered, and not the internal rate class used within your company. EIA is also looking for the revenues and customer counts associated with the gas in each particular sector. The sectors are residential, commercial, vehicle fuel, industrial, and electric power. Let's go over each of these one by one. Residential sector. The residential sector is defined as living quarters for private households. This includes mobile homes, apartment buildings, and single and multifamily dwellings. This sector does not include institutional living quarters. Commercial sector. The commercial sector is defined as facilities or businesses that provide a service. This includes local, state, and federal government facilities, places of worship, restaurants, hotels, hospitals, retail stores, and schools. This sector also includes institutional living quarters, such as a military base. Vehicle fuel sector. The vehicle fuel sector is defined as the natural gas consumed by motor vehicles, either in company fleets or in retail sales. Please include both compressed and liquefied natural gas in your report on the vehicle fuel sector. Industrial sector. The industrial sector is defined as facilities and equipment used for producing, processing, or assembling goods. This includes manufacturing, NAICS codes 31 through 33, forestry, fishing and hunting, mining, oil and gas extraction, construction, and agriculture. Respondents often misclassify agricultural volumes as part of the commercial sector, but remember, for the purpose of this form, agricultural volumes are industrial volumes. Electric power sector. The electric power sector is defined as electricity-only plants and combined heat and power plants. These plants' primary business is to sell electricity or electricity and heat to the public. The facilities in this sector are also known as NAICS code 22. If a utility delivers both gas and electricity, volumes of natural gas delivered to the electric side of the utility should still be reported as electric power volumes. What to do when it's complicated. If one or more of your customers is a cogeneration facility, please classify that facility by its primary line of business. For example, say you have a customer that is a food processing plant that's powered by a natural gas-fired generator. Each quarter, this plant sells its excess electricity to the grid. In this case, you should classify the customer as an industrial customer, not an electric power customer. Remember, always classify a facility by its primary line of business. Some commercial entities, such as large hospitals, may also buy natural gas to power an electric generator. These hospitals should still be classified as commercial customers. You might have a hard time determining which customers are industrial and which are electric. This difference is important to EIA's reporting, so we are happy to help you figure it out. If you have questions about which sector best fits your customer, please give us a call. What not to include in your response. These are some deliveries that are not within the scope of EIA-857 because they are not deliveries to end-use consumers. Deliveries to local distribution companies, sales for resale, and backhaul or replacement volumes are not end-use deliveries. Please do not report them anywhere on your survey. Now, let's take a closer look at the individual survey lines in Part 4. For every line in Section 4, report the volume of gas delivered, the revenue associated with that volume, and the number of customers for that particular sector. You'll notice that lines 3 through 7 and lines 8 through 12 mimic each other, with one important difference. Lines 3 through 7 deal with volumes of gas that your company owns. Lines 8 through 12 deal with volumes of gas your company does not own. This includes gas that your company is delivering on behalf of a third party. Lines 7 and 12 are intended for volumes that you aren't sure how to classify. If you have volumes you think should be reported on line 7 or line 12, please contact EIA for help. Line 13 is simply the sum of data on lines 3 through 12, but more on that in a minute. Beneath line 13 is a box to report the heat content of the gas delivered to consumers. This number is reported in BTU per cubic foot. Companies typically report heat content between 1,000 and 1,040 BTU per cubic foot. How to deal with time lags.
Most companies report data on lines 3 through 12 in one of two ways. The first way reports data that lines up directly to billing cycles. These data may be lagged behind the calendar month due to those billing cycles. The second way reports data that includes estimates for unbilled volumes, in an attempt to estimate the usage during the calendar month. Companies can choose to report whichever way works best, based on their internal billing and accounting systems. However, EIA would like to know which way the data is reported. The time period of data reported should correspond most closely to the report month. If you're reporting data according to the first method, and it's lagged on billing cycles, we'd expect the time frame of those data to be mid-month to mid-month, covering the first half of the report month and the second half of the month prior to that.
For example, if January's report is due March 1, that report may include data from the second half of December to the first half of January. Not all of the categories may experience this lag. The residential and commercial sectors, which you can find on lines 3, 4, 8, and 9, are often lagged due to billing cycles. The industrial and electric power volumes on lines 5, 6, 10, and 11 do not usually have this delay and are reported on the calendar month. If there is no lag, please make sure that these volumes correspond to the report month and not the month before or after. If your data are not lagged on billing cycles and you are including estimates for unbilled volumes in order to true up your data to the calendar month, please make sure that all volumes in all sectors correspond to the report month. Line 2 and line 13. EIA internally compares line 2, your company's sendout, with line 13, the total of all your deliveries. If your company reports data that is lagged on billing cycles, we expect that relationship between lines 2 and 13 to correspond to weather changes. For example, if the weather gets cooler and you're approaching the home heating season, EIA expects line 2 to be larger than line 13. This is because line 2 is on the calendar month, which is, on average, a cooler time period when more gas would be consumed. Line 13, on the other hand, includes data that are lagged a few weeks behind. Let's use November as an example. Line 2 would represent all of your November volumes, but line 13 would include the second half of October and the first part of November. On average, all of November is colder than the time period covering the second half of October and the first half of November. Because of this, EIA would expect line 2 to be bigger than line 13 for the November report period. And as the weather gets warmer, EIA expects the opposite to be true. Line 2 would be less than line 13. And if the weather is consistent from month to month, line 2 and line 13 should be very close to each other. Line 2 should never exactly equal line 13, but if your company is reporting unbilled estimates, we expect lines 2 and 13 to be relatively close to each other, typically within 5%. Again, line 2 is an operational number. It is not the sum of lines 3 through 12. The last section of your EIA-857 form is the comment section. If there are any accounting adjustments, unusual activity, or abnormal behavior in your report, you can use this comment section to explain them. We hope this video series was helpful. If you have any questions, please contact EIA, and we can help you get this right the first time.